Apps. The word app is probably one of the most used words and elements in our day-to-day life, and shockingly the most unknown. I think either a lot of people wonder or just not many people ask, what is an app? Or simply put, what makes an app an app? Sure, we use apps every single day, and most of the businesses you know of probably have an app. I mean, think about it. You can probably name 10 on the spot right now, and no one questions it. Like Google Maps, Snapchat, Instagram, no one questions it. What are they besides very useful tools? But when it comes to the difference between a mobile app and a web app, I think there is a common misconception that they're the same thing, and they're not. So why should you care? To stay current and make your business grow online, you need to know what tools are available to you. I think it's important to know the difference between a mobile app and a web app, because although they do have a lot of crossovers, they have very different strengths and weaknesses. So if you own a small business and you're a little bit lost in the world of apps and whether to code or not to code, keep watching because this guide is for you. Hey everyone, my name is Laura and you're watching No Code Tech, where we teach you the ins and outs of the no-code space. In this video, I'm going to teach you the differences between a mobile app and a web app and the different types of apps within those, which seems to get people a little bit confused. I'm sure many of you woke up this morning thanks to the alarm on your phone and start listening to a podcast on your way to work while you were, answering some texts and on your email. Now, these are applications, better known as apps. Apps are pieces of software that are pre-installed or that you install in your own device and that basically allow us to do things or solve certain pain points in our day-to-day lives. So is native app the same as mobile app? The terms native and mobile app tend to be used interchangeably, but the reality is that they're not the same thing. Mobile applications refers to any application that can be used on these devices. This can include a mobile app and a web app. Native apps are smartphone applications that are developed for specific operating systems like iOS or Android. These apps can be installed in any of these devices and users will download them from places like Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Apps native to a device are able to access certain device-specific features, something a web app cannot do. Some of these features include, for example, accessing a smartphone's GPS, camera function, its address book, and the use of push notifications. Some native apps even enable users to use the app without the internet. Web apps are designed to be fully functional and accessible on whatever device a user chooses to use because they run in a browser. A web app is essentially a website that is designed in a fluid manner so that it can respond to being viewed on a mobile web browser. Another example would be Trello. This web app replaces brightly colored post-its with a digital solution that enables the organizing and tracking of tasks. Trello enables team collaboration for more effective project management. Collaboration is one of the most common functions of web apps, allowing multiple people to work on a single dashboard. When it comes to the advantages of a native mobile app, there are a few, but the most important ones are that they are faster than web apps and that you can access the resources that your device offers. So this can be a GPS or a camera. Also, because these apps need to be approved by an app store, this means that there's an increased safety and security that this approval offers. Having an app published in the app store will also give you a sense of authority that a web app won't. Being able to find your app on an app store will mean that you'll be competing with the big dogs out there and will give you a sense of authority that otherwise other types of applications won't. At the same time, the fact that you have push notifications and that you have buttons and so much interaction and intuitiveness in an app means that there will be more of a user retention that in a web app you wouldn't have. So when it comes to the disadvantages of a native mobile app, these are mainly down to time and cost. Native mobile apps will take way longer to build than web apps, and they will also be more expensive, whether you hire a programmer or whether you do it yourself. Also, building an app for both iOS and Android will mean that you will probably have to build both from scratch, as maintaining your app, native mobile apps will be more costly to maintain over time. When it comes to app approval, Even though I said before that this is very good for your brand, getting your app approved is not that easy. But if what we want to build is a web app, there are plenty of advantages too. Building a web app will be faster and easier than a native mobile app. At the same time, because they fully run on a browser, it means that these apps will not have to be downloaded or installed. Web apps are also easier to maintain and updates will be done automatically, which on native mobile apps, I don't know if it's ever happened to you that you've gone on your phone and you've went to use an app and you've had to update it again or sometimes even reinstall it. And then finally, when it comes to launching will be way quicker with web apps because they don't have to be approved. So if your goal is to, get into market as quickly as possible, web apps might be for you because you don't have to get approval from an app store. However, web apps also have their disadvantages. The fact that they depend on an internet connection will mean that if your app has to be accessible at all times or has to be able to input data or view data, this will not be possible if you don't have access to internet connection. Web apps are also slower than mobile apps and they could be more difficult to discover. So if your goal is to be found and to compete, not being on an app store and in a marketplace like the other apps will probably be a problem for you. It will hinder your growth long term. Also, when it comes to security, because you don't have someone approving it, you don't have someone going through your whole app to be able to be published on an app store, this means that you will not go through that process of security that you would if you were to be, reviewed by an app store. So now you know the differences between a native mobile app and a mobile app, and a mobile app and a web app. Although this might still be a bit confusing, at the end of the day, your decision will be based on the strategy and the goals that you're trying to achieve, as well as the audience that you're trying to reach. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it useful. Please feel free to subscribe and like this video as it really helps our channel. Until next time, adios.